What's up? What's up? What's up, party people? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, back in the house for a regular edition of Bardo's Breakdown. I've been around a little bit, y'all. Been filling in on the NBA side, have had a lot of schedule changes that have taken place. So glad to be back in the saddle again. You know, y'all see I might be, I'm a little pieced up for you IG folk. Let y'all get a taste of the gear. Because I was wearing this earlier today. I did that incredible double overtime victory by Purdue at Illinois today, 96-88. I mean, this game had a little bit of everything. It was all that it was cracked up to be. Aaron Janowski, thank you. Captain Fletcher, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Mary Gertzmeyer, RY11 Shea. How about those Boilers? Yes, sir. Ivan, what's good, bro? Jay Hood in the house. Captain Fletcher on both sides, and White Mamba 40 in the house. Kevin White. Thank you guys for joining today. Been crazy. Schedule's been crazy. Been filling in, like I said, for the Bucks. Had some schedule changes with the college schedule. I could go into depth with that, but I'll spare the details because it's people just not doing their job. But I'll leave it at that. So we got a lot to get into today, and I'm going to really break down this Purdue-Illinois game. But first, let me say congratulations to my executive producer, Tony Gill, who got engaged, I believe it was last week, to his beautiful fiance now. And so, Tony, congratulations. I could tell the smile and the expression that you have on your post with your fiance that you're very, very happy, as is she. So congratulations to you. I want to get that off the top. So, yeah, a lot going on. Let's take a look at the Big Ten teams in the top 25 because a new AP top 25 came out today. And as Joe Davis and I were preparing for the Purdue-Illinois game, we had to change the rankings because the rankings came out right at the tip. And so Purdue is now number 4 in the country, and they looked every bit of the number 4 team in the country today in their double overtime victory. Wisconsin, playing as well as anybody in the conference, coming in at number 8. Michigan State stumbles a little bit to number 14 with their loss yesterday at home against a shorthanded Northwestern Wildcats team that played like their hair was on fire. Illinois, number 17, but they were more than likely dropped. I don't know why, because that victory or that loss to Purdue was nothing to be ashamed about. The Illini played their tails off in spite of Kofi Coburn in foul trouble for most of that one. Meredith Evans, good to see you. Thanks for joining. And then Ohio State rounds out the 5 Big Ten teams in the top 25. They check in at number 19. So Big Ten still very well represented in the top 25. We're going to go to I want to jump over here. What's up, Andrew Moody, Zoomer Sports? I want to jump over to the Big Ten results over the past week and over the weekend that were really big, no pun intended. Number 4, Purdue, the aforementioned game, double overtime victory, 96-88 over the number 17 ranked Illini. I'll go into that here in a second. Northwestern over number 10, Michigan State at Michigan State. That was somewhat of a shocker. Northwestern's leading scorer, Pete Nance, did not play, and yet they were able to get the victory on the road, a great victory for Northwestern. And then Michigan State had a last-second victory over Minnesota, a game that Lisa Byington and me were on the 1s and 2s for that one. Joey Hauser gets a layup with about a second left to put them over the hump against Minnesota. Was a great Big Ten game. So I've been very fortunate to have 2 or 3 of those games that I called that were outstanding games. So hats off to Northwestern. Hats off to Michigan State, even though they got upset at home to Northwestern. But this were really, really good games. Now, let's get into the breakdown for the Purdue-Illinois game today. As usual, the small minority of Illinois Twitter fans are lighting me up, cursing at me. I got to block people and send in stuff. But I just want to say this one thing to those people, because I think we're live on Twitter right now. The Illini fan base is a very passionate fan base, and they want the best for their teams just like everyone else. very knowledgeable fans. But the small minority, very, very small minority of Illinois fans really do a disservice to the fan base overall. What's up, Kimberly Taylor? Good to see you. Because they're nasty, they're ignorant, and they think that I try to go above and beyond not being a homer for Illinois when I call games. I haven't played at Illinois in over 30 years. So I've been getting checks. I didn't get any checks at Illinois, but I've been getting checks ever since I left Illinois, and none of them had Illinois on it. So I don't understand what it is. I guess what I said got Kofi Coburn in foul trouble and fouled out of the game. I guess Eric Hunter cutting back door and getting 2 layups in overtime. My bias towards Purdue had something to do with that. Matt Painter calling some outstanding set calls that got Stefanovic an open 3 to start the second overtime. And then Eric Hunter got 2 wide open layups. So my bias had a lot to do with that. But I digress. Zach Edey was a grown-ass man today. He established himself early and often and was really, really tough. You're seeing right now on the screen, if you're watching, if you're not on IG, you can see Tony running some video of the game. And I won't talk over the video, but you can watch that as I'm breaking this down. Zach Edey was chirping, he was talking, he was animated, and he established himself early and often. 9 of 14 from the field, 8 rebounds, 20 points. Jaden Ivey was really spectacular in some of his athletic moves. He gets downhill as well as any guard in college basketball. He wasn't great. He was 3 of 10 from the field, but he was 13 of 15 from the free throw line. So great scorers understand how to get to the line to create offense for their teams, even though they may be struggling individually. Sasha Stefanovic was outstanding. He was 6 of 11 from 3. He had 8 rebounds and 22 points. He was a leading scorer for Purdue, and he's primarily known as a catch and shoot three-point shooter, which he's outstanding at. But he did a lot of other things today that ensured Purdue got that double overtime victory. Anastasia Walker says it best. That was probably one of the best college games I've seen this year. I agree, Anastasia, and I call games every day almost. That was an outstanding college basketball game. So, and then on the flip side for Illinois, Kofi Coburn got in foul trouble early and often, and this is, in my opinion, what makes Purdue so good. Zach Edey and Travion Williams basically split minutes. Each of them plays about 20 minutes a game. Combined, they average about 29 points and 18 rebounds. So when you're hitting Kofi with 7'4" Zach Edey, who, by the way, weighs as much as Kofi, they're both 290 pounds. So Zach Edey is banging, and not quite as quick, but he's banging, banging, banging. Then you come off the bench with Travion Williams, who can also bang, but is quicker and a better passer. So this is a very difficult matchup for any team trying to slow down Purdue. And Kofi Coburn got in foul trouble. There might have been some questionable calls early on, but his 5th foul, the one where Jaden Ivey tried to jump away from him, was clearly a 5th foul. No one was complaining about that. It was just one of those afternoons for Kofi Coburn. He just could not get going. And credit Purdue, because their game plan really came at him hard, got him in foul trouble, and it was a big-time factor. Alfonso Plummer, who struggled early, kind of came on late, ended up with 6 of 12 from 3 and had 24 points. He was really aggressive looking for his shot. Aaron Janowski said Plummer has got a wet 3-point shot. Aaron, he had struggled a little bit, as have the Illini 3-point shooting, and they struggled again today. One of the better 3-point shooting teams before this last 3-game stretch, and they struggled from the 3. And tip your hat to Purdue, because they did a really good job of not double-teaming Kofi, but having guys dig in on the help side and stayed at home on a lot of the 3-point shooters. So they made that difficult. Trent Frazier had a tough game for 3-point land, only 2 of 9 from 3, but he was 7 of 16 from the field. He was aggressive. He got to the hole, made some great plays at the rim, and he was his normal tough, steady self. 5 rebounds, 6 assists. He ended up with 16 points. Bozeman's Verdonk, he got more playing time as a result of his play today. Tina Strong, what's good? JP Young, 82, what's happening? Willis J, 82, good to see you. MSB Morgan Bishop, thanks for joining. Quinn Moeller, Verdonk grew into a man today. Yes, he did, Quinn. He was outstanding defensively. Really flustered Travion Williams a few times when he had the rock, kept Zach Edey from getting to his sweet spot. Thought he did a great job. Clark Brutus Dearden, Verdonk stepped up huge today. Yes, he did, because when Omar Payne, if you guys remember, he had his arms up and he moved into Stefanovic, cracking him in the side of his head with an elbow that got him a flagrant 1. And you really didn't see Payne for the rest of the game. I don't know if that upset Brad Underwood, but he chose not to go back to Omar Payne. Bozeman's Verdonk stepped up big time. And then Andre Corbello, ladies and gentlemen, that might have been one of his best performances as an Illini. When you don't play for 2 months and you come in against the number 4 team in the country and it's nip and tuck and you're without Kofi Coburn for the better part of the second half in the overtime, and he came in to do what he did. Corbello was 8 of 15 from the field. Think about that for a second. All for 2 months against one of the premier defenses in the Big Ten and in the country in Purdue. Great size at the rim. And he was living in the paint. He got to the rim repeatedly. Was able to had some great dimes. Bozeman's Verdonk had a dunk that he passed up. Corbello just led him right to the rim. He got another dunk as a result, I believe, of a Corbello feed. Andre Corbello was outstanding. To me, that performance today was as impressive as anything I've seen him do in an Illini jersey. That's how impressed I was with Andre Corbello. He ended up with 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 20 points. And he did his thing. So I tip my hat to the Illini. That was a hell of a game. They came up on the short end of the stick in a double overtime loss. But they played their asses off, as did the Purdue Boilermakers. That was a fantastic college basketball game. So I tip my hat to both sides because that was outstanding. Let me see. I'm seeing some people over here. And Tony's doing a good job of throwing up the comments on the Facebook side. Zoomer Sports, how good was it to see Corbello back on the court? Awesome second half for Corbello. Could not agree more. Camlin CMM, thanks for joining. Pierce Dovalis, Pierce Dovalis, thanks for joining. Jay Petrie 2, Derek Dayton 94, LesFP 68. Where did the saying on the ones and twos originate? Asked Zoomer Sports. On the ones and twos is an old hip hop DJ term because you have 2 turntables, and on the ones and twos, you're mixing in the sound, and so that's what it is. It's 2 turntables. So whenever I say I'm on the ones and twos with my play-by-play partner, who today was Joe Davis, outstanding, one of the best in the business. Love working with Joe whenever I get a chance. Illinois played a gutsy game with Kofi getting in foul trouble and not having his best game, says Cameron Wright. Also, Corbello was a difference maker. Illinois is going to be okay if they keep improving. I'm telling you, Cameron, if you learn a lot in wins and losses, particularly in losses, you tend to learn a lot more. Illinois found something today. They were already very good. I had them picked. I had Purdue picked to win the league, but I had Illinois right there. It could have gone either way. And as you saw today, I think it showed that those are the 2 best teams in the league. And if you got to have the number 4 team get the number 1 player in the country for double doubles, Kofi Coburn, they had to get him in foul trouble to where he didn't play most of the second half and most of the double overtimes. And yet you had to go double overtime to win. That says a lot. Chef Brian X, you got that right. Great game. and I was glad to be a part of it. Let me see. Come Big Ten tournament, Illinois will be right there in the Final Four against Purdue, says Mark Covington. Can't agree more, Mark. Spot on. Let's see. How much do you think the COVID break has hurt the Illini shooting, especially Granderson and Plummer, says JP Young 82. That's a great question, JP. I think when you had a team like Illinois that was in such a great rhythm from long range, and then you break that up, it definitely has an effect on, your ability to continue to have that hot streak and that timing. Because that three-point shooting, to me, is really timing and confidence. Timing meaning that you're releasing it at the height of your jump. You're holding your follow-through. You're getting in position and you're going straight up and down. So sometimes when you're off, you're fading a little bit, or your release point is not where it needs to be. You might be releasing a tad bit late as you're coming down, and it affects your shot. All those things come into play. And what you said, that's legit. Lurdau Parker 23, good to see you. Vic Dak, what's good, Vic? Good to see Jimmy Red 65. What's up? Jay Hood says ones and twos and a penny on the needle. You got that. Joe Davis is definitely one of the best young broadcasters in the business. I would say he's one of the best in the business, period. Awesome that he got a chance last year to call Major League Baseball playoffs in the 2020 NLCS Game 6, Dodgers versus Braves, says Zoomer Sports. Illinois learned how to play without Kofi. We'll take positives. Quinn, I can't agree with you more. So, yeah, that's kind of my breakdown. I want to go a little bit into depth on that game, because a lot of times when we call those games, they're going to another game, so we don't have a chance to, jump in and really break it down. But I really wanted to give love to both teams, because Illinois didn't come away with the win, but they learned a lot today. Bozeman's Verdonk can be counted on. Andre Curbelo is back in a big way. Kofi Coburn will have something to really focus on moving forward, because he'll have a chance against Purdue again, and he'll learn from these experiences. It was Purdue had a great game plan against him. They went right at him, got him in early foul trouble. He'll learn from this. So I wanted to get into that a little bit. Oh, Jimmy Red 65, he said he loves the sport coat. I got to rock this more, boy, because I got a lot of compliments on this today at the game. So thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Al from Al and Powell Show, what's good? Kirk Thomas, former NBA great. Good to see you on here, Kirk. Thanks for the assist there, Zoomer Sports. Let's go quickly into the power rankings if we can, Tony. I know this is going to look a lot different for a lot of people, because the power rankings are who I think is playing the best in a particular week. So right now I've got Wisconsin first, Purdue second, Ohio State third, Illinois 4, Michigan State 5, Indiana 6, even though I probably should have flipped Indiana and Iowa, because Iowa put it on Indiana earlier this week. That was my bad. That's a mistake. So I would probably put Iowa 6, Rutgers 7, Indiana 8, Northwestern 9, Penn State 10, Minnesota 11, Michigan 12. They're just having a hard time figuring themselves out, but Michigan played better in their loss at Illinois coming off the COVID break. Maryland 13 and Nebraska 14. Louis Timon, thank you for the compliments on that. So that is my power rankings for this week. They look a little bit different, I know, but again, it's not who's ranked or the conference records necessarily. It was who's playing well during that week. And I like Wisconsin right now as maybe the hottest team in the conference. All right. Let me see here. I'm trying to think of story time. And while I do that, let me go back through some of these comments here. Kenny Kim, what's good? Thank you for joining. I don't Illinois will play Purdue as well in Mackey. Yes, they will. They'll have a return matchup. So you will definitely get a chance to see that. Carlos Newbern. Yes, there are. Our top 4 Big Ten teams are Purdue, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan State. Those others are upset teams against the top 4. Well, Ohio State can – I think Ohio State can kind of move in and out of that grouping. But those top 4, I would agree with you. They've shown throughout the conference play that they will probably be there at the end based on all 4 of those teams have somebody that they can go to down the stretch. Some people say Michigan State maybe struggle with the go-to guy. I still like Gabe Brown. I think Max Christie is having an outstanding freshman year. He's starting to step up. Who's the go-to guy for Illinois? It can be Kofi Coburn. It can be Trent Frazier. Now it can be Andre Curbelo. For Purdue, I mean, they had a plethora of guys. It could be Jaden Ivey. Stefanovic stepped up big time. Zach Edey, of course, and Travion Williams in the post, right? And then for Wisconsin, Johnny Davis had 27 on the road against Purdue earlier in the conference slate. So all 4 of those teams, I agree with you, are top 4. You think Ohio State is playing higher than Illinois right now? Only because Ohio State hasn't had a loss, Jamie. That's why I give them the nod over Illinois. Illinois had a loss there, and I like to reward teams who are hot. So if you have a loss, you get knocked down a little bit. Maybe Illinois didn't have to go down to 4, but you know they have a chance to change that this week. Let me think. Kofi was getting too emotional showing his cards. Shannon Williams, I agree. Kofi really, I don't mind a guy playing with passion. That's fine. But Kofi was really upset. He got the ball one time and smacked it in front of Brian Dorsey and, said an expletive as he was dropping the ball. So he was obviously frustrated. And hey, listen, if I had 290 on one side, Zach Edey hit me with elbows and banging against me, and then you come back with a 250, 260-pound Travion Williams doing the same thing, I'm going to get frustrated after a while as well. So he did get emotional. He did show his hand. But Shannon, for the Illini, hopefully that will be something that he can build on moving forward. All right, so I'm going to give you a story. It's not going to be too bad. It's kind of give you some insight on what's happening through my professional basketball situation. I've done a couple Bardo Lives. I've done a little bit of that, but I'm going to start doing a little bit more of the NBA side because at the end of this week, I'll start 4 straight games with the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'll give you guys some more insight. But I had to fill in for Marcus Johnson because his mother passed away. And man, my weeks are getting mixed up. I woke up last Thursday, got a call from the Bucks and said that I have to, can I do the next 3 games for the Bucks? So when those types of things happen, I have to immediately get on the phone with coordinating producers from Big Ten Network and Fox Sports and see, what we can do and what we can get together. And Alex Birchie from the Big Ten Network, love working with the guy. He's one of my favorite coordinating producers to work with. He busts his tail, he's fair, and he's straight up. So I got to him, was able to get things done. He had to work some magic to free me up, but he got me free, and I appreciate that. On the other side, I had one of the coordinating producers that I was working with kind of did it on my behalf and got it done. So I'm sleep deprived. I have to fly into New York. I get to Newark a little bit late, get into Manhattan. We go to Brooklyn. Call the game. Great game. Bucks end up winning on the road. They beat Brooklyn. We're leaving, and what happens is you typically get 2 to 3 buses in a traveling party in the NBA. And so we get on the buses, and we're going to fly out of LaGuardia, or was it Kennedy? It might have been Kennedy. I can't remember. I think it was Kennedy. So our bus, the first bus, we get up and we go to the private jet areas, not the regular airport areas, it's separate entrance. So we go to the entrance and there's some commotion, and then the bus backs up and we park. And we're sitting there for like 30 minutes and we didn't know what happened. And so we pull up, we finally get through the gate, we pull up, and they rush us on the plane because it's really cold. So we get on the plane and find out one of the buses went to the wrong airport. I think they went to Newark instead of going to the Kennedy. And so they hustled up and got in. And we were supposed to leave Brooklyn, or we were supposed to leave New York at 11:30. We ended up leaving around 1. We got to Charlotte around 3. And then, had to turn around and have a game that night. So when you see your favorite NBA team or your players dragging ass, that's why. Because sometimes they don't get into the next city until 3 or 4 in the morning, where they got to turn around and get on the court about 15, 16 hours later, expecting to go full bore. That's how special these athletes are. And I was dragging calling the game, and I didn't have to play, but I was dragging. And so those are some of the nuances that most people don't see that professional athletes have to endure with their schedules. Even though they're flying private, there are hiccups in those scenarios. And so, you'll get in late, you have to eat late. And so the NBA lifestyle is fun. It's great to call those games, but there are some challenges associated with it. So if you want to be a part of Bardo's tribe, the insider group, there's 2 ways to join. You can text me to 312-847-2739. The number is on the screen on the bottom for those that aren't on IG. 312-847-2739. Text me and you're in the inner portion of Bardo Breakdown, or go to Bardo's Breakdown group, where there are over 750 Big Ten fans just like yourselves that get insight, get special videos. I give a little tip. I might come on there and do something silly. Just want to give you more insight. 3 simple questions. Go there and answer it, and you're in. So you got 2 ways to join. So I hope that I get to see some new people in the mix, because we're going to be doing some really fun things as conference play heats up. We'll have more insight to what's going on, in addition to some of the Milwaukee Bucks games, as the Milwaukee Bucks have the most challenging schedule in the second half of the season of any Eastern Conference team. So they're going to be playing a dynamite schedule, and yours truly will be a part of it. Anastasia Walker says, I know you're about your fitness. How do you eat healthy on the road? Man, it is hard, Anastasia, because NBA players got food everywhere you look. I mean, they take care of their traveling party. So we got food all the time. And I try not to eat too much. Sometimes I skip meals. I try to get that workout in as much as I possibly can. And I try to limit my meat intake when I'm, especially on the road. Because, I love steak and bacon and burgers and chicken and ribs. I like that as well. But I noticed that the vegetables and the starches tend to work better, especially late night. So great question. I'm trying to join my Let's Toast Facebook. Okay. Milwaukee is up by 10 on Atlanta. Thank you for that, Captain Fletcher. So thank you guys. Kirk Inman, thank you. Trade with Morrison, 452. Thank you. B Houston 34. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. Good to see you on here. Thanks for joining. Ought to be another great week of college basketball. Check my profile page on IG, and I think I posted it on Facebook as well. My schedule for the week is up. I'll go back and post it. I don't think I posted it on Twitter. But for those that joined on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, IG, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful rest of the week. If you want to be a part of the tribe, text me 312-847-2739. Have a great rest of your MLK, Martin Luther King holiday. Hope most of you didn't have to work. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hug and kiss your family, because tomorrow is not promised. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for joining. Peace, y'all.